Geometry 1, Chapter 5 Test, Topic 5. You should be able to use congruent figures to find missing side lengths, angle measures, and variables. The example. Given that triangle AXQ is congruent to triangle WPL, solve for the missing variables. Now we have three missing variables. We have an x down here, a y up here in the angle, and a z here in this angle. So oftentimes, my own personality is to start with the first letter of the alphabet, so let's see if we can find x first. It doesn't particularly matter in most cases, but you have to start somewhere. Let's start with x. So here's the situation we have. X, 2x minus 4, this side over here, is going to be congruent to one of the sides over here. And the initial concern is that this bottom side is 2x plus 4, and this bottom side doesn't have a side length. So if they're congruent, that means they're equal, but we don't know what number this is. So what we need to do is go back up to the congruency statement and see. AXQ is congruent to WPL. Well, this side over here is side LP. And the question is, what is LP going to be congruent with? So you can always find that in the congruency statement. LP is the last letter and the middle letter. These letters are set up in a specific order so that they match in the correct order. So L corresponds to Q and P corresponds to X. LP, the last in the middle, correspond to QX, the last in the middle. So the initial reaction that AQ was congruent to LP is actually wrong. LP is congruent to QX. And if they're congruent, that means they have equal length, which means 2x minus 4 is actually equal to 17, and we can solve. So add 4 to both sides. 2x equals 21. Divide both sides by 2. And although it might be a little uncomfortable for you to do 21 divided by 2, you can use a calculator. That gives 10.5 for the x value. LP was congruent to QX, so you set them equal and solve. Now we need to do the same sort of thing for y and z. So let's try y next. Y is in angle X up here. The question is, what is angle X congruent to? Angle what? So go back up to the congruency statement. Angle X, X is in the middle, is going to be congruent to angle P, the angle in the middle. And if angle X is congruent to angle P, what that means is that they are equal. So you can set them equal. 10y minus 2 equals angle P, 88. And solve. Add 2 to both sides. 10x equals 90. Divide both sides by 10. And you get y equals 9. Angle X is congruent to angle P, so set them equal and solve. Last one, we're looking for Z, which is an angle Q. So the question is, angle Q is congruent to angle, and again we look at the congruency statement. Angle Q goes last, Q corresponds to L, because L is last in the congruency statement. So angle Q is congruent to angle L. So what we do is we set angle Q equal to angle L. And this causes a little bit of a problem because angle L is missing. Okay, well, that's not the end of the world here. We can find angle L because, look, we have angle W and we have angle P. And what do we know about the three angles of a triangle? It's that they add to 180. So we can add them together, 71 plus 88, add together the two that we know. That's 9, 7 plus 8 is 15, 159. And we take that, and since all three have to add to 180, we can subtract. 180 minus 159, borrow, 10 minus 9 is 1, 7 minus 5 is 2, which means this angle measure is 21 degrees. Now, I would not spend time finding angle L unless it's actually needed for the problem. We had to find angle L in order to set angle Q and angle L equal, their measures. Typically, I wouldn't have found that angle with the hope that perhaps Q corresponded to W or P. But angle Q corresponds to angle L, which means they are congruent, so their angle measures can be set equal. 3x equals 21, and solve. Divide both sides by 3, and x equals, that's a z. Z equals 7. So x equals 10.5, y equals 9, and z equals 7.